France are out of the World Cup, and their head coach walked into the press room and put the referee on trial. Spain won the semifinal in Dallas 2-0, and nobody is seriously arguing the result. The argument is about how the scoring started, a soft penalty, a teenager who did not have the ball under control, and a video assistant referee that looked at all of it and waved it through. Didier Deschamps asked out loud whether the official was even fit to work a game this size, and tonight, he is nowhere near the only one asking. So let me show you the call that ended France's World Cup, and then let me show you the thing almost nobody is telling you about it, because the penalty is only half the story. The other half is the reason it was never, ever getting overturned, and once you see that, you will not look at this tournament the same way again. It is late in the first half. The score is level at 0-0. A cross comes into the France box, and Lucas Digne climbs to clear it. He never sees the teenager coming. Lamine Yamal darts in from his blind side, pokes the ball loose, and Digne's boot catches him in the torso. Referee Yvan Barton does not hesitate for a second. His arm shoots to the spot. Mikel Oyarzabal steps up and buries it. And just like that, for the first time in this entire tournament, France are behind. They never recover. You could see it on the touchline. Deschamps stood there, arms wide, head back, staring at the official like he could not believe what he had just watched him give. Now watch the replay, because this is where it turns. Yamal did not have the ball. He lunged at a 50-50, knocked it loose, and went down as the contact arrived. There was a touch in the box, yes, but it came on a player who was not in control. In a World Cup semi-final, with the game still level and still there for the taking, Soft does not begin to cover it. And here is the part almost nobody explains. That penalty was never getting reversed. Not because the video assistant referee missed something, because it is not allowed to touch it. Think about how the system actually works. The video assistant referee cannot redecide a penalty just for being soft. It can only step in for what the laws call a clear and obvious error. Offside is a measured fact, so the machine rules on it cleanly, down to the width of a toe. But a penalty is a judgment, and that judgment belongs to the referee standing on the grass. So the second Barton pointed to the spot, the only question left upstairs was whether he had made an obvious mistake. A soft, arguable, 50-50 penalty does not clear that bar. Defensible calls survive the review every single time, no matter how thin they look to the rest of us. There is no camera angle, no replay, no slow motion that saves you here. The technology can prove a shirt was offside by the length of a fingernail, and still it will not touch the one call that just decided who reaches a World Cup final. It was never built to. You want the proof? You already saw it in the very same game. Later on, Yamal stuck the ball in the net again, and it was chalked off for a narrow offside. Barely a complaint. Why? Because offside is a fact the machine can measure, and people accept a fact. The penalty was a human judgment. And human judgment is exactly what this review system is built to leave alone. The most subjective call in the sport, the one fans scream about the most, is the exact call the technology is designed to touch the least. That one sentence explains the entire tournament. The calls that matter most are the calls the video assistant referee is built to sit out. Which brings us right back to a furious French coach and one loaded question. After the match, Deschamps did something clever. He refused to hide behind the referee. He said plainly that his team were a level below and that Spain mastered the game. He gave Spain their credit first. And that is exactly why what he said next landed so hard. He told the room he would ask a question and then refused to answer it. Did the referee have the level to officiate a World Cup semifinal? Then he widened the lens. The penalty, he said, was only the start of it. What he was really pointing at, in his own word, was an accumulation of things. Remember who is saying this. A World Cup winning coach, a man who has spent 14 years learning exactly when to keep his mouth shut. He does not run to the referee every time he loses. So when he reaches for a word like accumulation, you lean in, because he is telling you there was more. And there was. Start with the strangest thing Barton did all night, and it was not even the penalty. In that same first half, he gave France a free kick. Fabian Ruiz was flagged for a foul on Ousmane Dembélé near the box. Except the replay showed Ruiz had barely touched him. Dembélé had overstretched and fallen into his own club teammate, and then Barton did something you almost never see. He canceled his own decision. The video assistant referee had nothing to do with it. One of his own assistants said something in his ear, and he waved the free kick off and gave a drop ball instead. Analysts who cover officiating for a living could not remember the last time a referee reversed himself like that, live on a word from the sideline. But that is not where Barton's tournament begins. He walked out for this semi-final already carrying headlines. Earlier in the competition, he sent off Miguel Almiron for covering his mouth in a confrontational way during a Paraguay match. Almiron became the first player anywhere in the whole tournament punished under a brand new FIFA rule. A rule so fresh and so argued over that a second player was soon sent off for the very same thing. Barton opened that door too. And here is what makes all of that matter. This is no rookie in over his head. Barton is 35, from El Salvador, and vastly experienced. He worked the last World Cup, the one Argentina won, and FIFA has trusted him at the top level for years. So strip away the easy excuse of inexperience, and Deschamps' question gets much harder to brush off. It stops being about one man having a bad night, and starts being about the standard itself on the biggest stage the sport has. And by full time, Deschamps had a crowd standing behind him. The Italian journalist Tancredi Palmieri called the penalty absolutely stupid and said it went against the philosophy of the game. He claimed Yamal threw himself, hoping to be caught rather than playing the ball, and said Barton was not fit for a challenge that size. Dave Portnoy, who runs Barstool Sports, went after the pattern itself. You play 90 minutes of football, he said, and then a penalty like that decides everything. And a well-known American news correspondent, Hala Garani, watching and openly pulling for France, asked in what conceivable world that was a penalty. Completely insane, she added. When a coach, a top analyst, a media personality, and a neutral broadcaster all land on the same call in the same night, you are past coincidence. That is a signal. So here is where people get it exactly backwards. The defenders of this call will tell you Barton was technically right, and on paper, they are correct. There was contact, inside the box, on a player who had touched the ball. The replay showed Yamal's arm control came above the sleeve line, so it did not even register as a handball. By the letter of the law, the penalty was clean. That is the scandal itself. Sit with what it actually means. The rules are written so that the softest, most game-deciding penalty you will ever see is both legal to give and impossible to take back. A World Cup semifinal can swing on a 50-50, and every layer of the system, the referee, the law book, the video assistant referee, is built to let it stand and call it a job well done. And think about what that does to a team. France lost more than a goal that night. They lost their belief on a decision they will never get a straight answer on. You can play the best football of your life for 6 games, and one soft call your own review system refuses to look at can wipe it out. That is the game FIFA has built. If you want the big calls at this World Cup broken down straight, without the caution other channels tiptoe around them with, subscribe and stay with me. Because the rest of this goes well past one penalty in Dallas. This has been happening all tournament, and it keeps landing on the team with the most to lose. Go back to the round of 32. Senegal led Belgium 2-0 and were minutes from going through. Then Belgium clawed level, and deep in extra time, the video assistant referee sent the referee to the screen, and a penalty suddenly appeared. Belgium scored it, the latest goal in the history of the Men's World Cup, and Senegal were gone. Critics called the contact a 50-50 that should never have cleared the clear and obvious bar. The review alone ate up around 7 minutes of a nation's night, and if you thought that was a one-off, it was only getting warmed up. Then the round of 16. Argentina came from 2 goals down to beat Egypt 3-2, in a game where a goal was ruled out for a foul spotted nearly 20 seconds earlier in the build-up. Egypt's coach called it rigged, and accused FIFA of protecting Argentina and Lionel Messi. Egypt's federation filed a formal complaint, a national federation, at a World Cup, putting it in writing that they no longer trusted the officiating. That is a governing body losing the room. And it has not all been about calls on the grass. Before the United States played Belgium, FIFA suspended and then quietly brought back a red-carded American forward's place in the team, a switch that other nations blasted as one rule for some and another rule for the rest. Even the technology itself has taken hits. In one quarterfinal, England went through after a disputed goal survived a video review that split everyone watching it. Every one of these is a different game, a different referee, a different country left furious, but the thread running through all of them is the same. The biggest moments of this World Cup keep getting settled by the officials, and the system keeps backing itself every single time. The backlash got so loud that FIFA actually moved. From the quarterfinals on, it put video assistant referee officials inside the stadiums instead of running everything from one hub in Dallas. Sounds like a fix, right? Read the fine print. FIFA said clearly this was about technical reliability, about a backup if the connection dropped. It did not change a single word about how the calls themselves get made. Fans wanted the judgment fixed. FIFA upgraded the wiring and left the judgment exactly where it was. In plain terms, the part everyone was angry about, the actual decisions, stayed exactly the same. Different building, same calls. And the governing body has not given an inch. Its head of refereeing, Pierluigi Collina, met the criticism head-on. He said nobody can question the integrity of the World Cup's officials, and that the refereeing cannot be swayed by anyone, not even the FIFA president. He is drawing a hard line, right as the tournament reaches its biggest games. So do not expect an apology. Do not expect a review that goes anywhere. FIFA has planted its flag, and the flag says nothing here is broken. This was never about one team cheating, and nobody needs a conspiracy to explain it. What is happening is bigger than that and harder to fix. A World Cup this size keeps handing its defining moments to decisions this thin, run through a review system built so the softest, most game-changing calls are the ones it will almost never touch. It took a coach on his way out the door, with nothing left to protect, to stand up and say that to FIFA's face. And the uncomfortable part is that he is probably right, and it will probably keep happening anyway. So here's where it stands going into the weekend. Spain are in the World Cup final, and they play the winner of Argentina and England on Sunday. France drop into the third-place game on Saturday, the last match Deschamps will ever coach for his country. His captain, Kylian Mbappe, walked off the pitch and swore about the officiating live on camera. And the noise is not slowing down. The other semi-final was handed to an all-American officiating crew, and fans were already picking apart the lead referee's history with Messi before a ball was even kicked. The officials are under the microscope before kickoff now, never mind after the final whistle. That is what this tournament has done. It has turned its biggest moments into arguments about the person holding the whistle, instead of the players on the pitch. FIFA walks into its own showpiece final carrying the same question that has shadowed this entire tournament. Whether the officiating and the technology behind it is really good enough for the stage it is being asked to police. The loudest thing anyone said in Dallas tonight was not the final score. It was the silence Deschamps left hanging after the one question he refused to answer.